The brutally honest guide to self-improvement. The brutally honest guide to self-improvement. That is what we are going to talk about today. But, first, please send your validation my way so that I can inhale it into my nostrils and down to the depths of my soul. Send said validation by subscribing to the YouTube channel. Hit the little notification bell. The notification bell is very important because it helps you get brand new videos the moment they come out. All other platforms, please like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the brutally honest guide to self-improvement. My book, Real Help, an honest guide to self-improvement. I actually wanted to title it The Brutally Honest Guide to Self-Improvement, but I wanted to make it a little bit more accessible. But in reality, it's a brutally honest guide to self-improvement. Some of the reactions that my writing has elicited, that the book has elicited, explain exactly the outcome that I want to get. So I was sharing links to the book on Twitter, and this one guy replied, and he was like, I love your articles on Medium. Sometimes the amount of truth in them makes me want to fight you, but I'm glad you put them out there. Another one of my colleagues, she left a review and she said, the book will make you feel ashamed of yourself, but in a good way. You will go through the 5 stages of grief, but then you will come out on the other end feeling better. And that's the kind of effect that I want to have with my writing, the effect that I want to have with my YouTube channel, and the effect that I want to have with this book. I want something that I feel like the game has been missing. I want something that I feel the self-improvement industry as a whole has been missing, and it's the truth. You need to understand the cold, harsh realities of the world if you want to live a successful life. You need to understand the cold, hard realities of the way that your own mind works if you want to be successful in life. So basically, what the book does, what the No BS Guide to Self-Improvement does, it reiterates all of the things that we already know, but it does it in kind of the most honest, almost confrontational way possible. That's the same thing I do with this channel. I'm telling you a bunch of things that you already know, but I'm trying to say it in a little bit of a confrontational way. I'm trying to wake you up. I'm trying to keep you from letting your rationalizations ruin your life. So let's talk about some themes in the book. One of the themes that I like to talk about in the book is the idea that you want to navigate the world in the way that the world actually works instead of the way that you want it to work. Too many people are just concerned about the world being fair. They're concerned about people's feelings. They want everything to be level. They want stereotypes not to exist. They want power games to not exist. They want incentive structures to not exist. They want crony capitalism to not exist. They want corruption in politicians in the media not to exist. They want all of these fairy tale ideas to come to life. They want some benevolent entity to come and save them, but it's not going to happen. It's very well intentioned. It's very well intentioned to want someone to come and save us. It's very well intentioned to want human nature to go away. It's very well intentioned to want life to be fair. But that's not going to make those things become a reality. And I think too many people get caught up in the way things should work. Say, for example, you are of a certain socioeconomic class, of a certain race, of a certain sex, of a certain orientation, of a certain affiliation that might throw some monkey wrenches into your life. And perhaps it is not fair that you should have to go through what you're going through because of immutable characteristics. But what if you do? Are you going to wait for the scales of justice to tip evenly perfect before you get on with your life? Are you going to wait for all of the isms to eradicate to 0.0% before you decide to change your life? Are you going to wait until you have every opportunity in the world available to you before you decide to change your life? Or are you going to decide that things are good enough? Are you going to accept the fact that, yeah, there are some isms in the world, there are some class problems in the world, there are some things going on that are not good, but there are also a lot of great things going on. There are a lot of great things going on with the internet, one of the great equalizers. My business coach is a woman. One of my favorite marketing professionals, Bushra Azar, she's a woman living in Saudi Arabia. One of my favorite blogging mentors is John Morrow. He's paralyzed from the neck down, has been his whole life, and he built a multi-million-dollar blogging education company without being able to use 90% of his body. I take business courses for men, women, people of all religions, orientations, and I get this self-improvement education from these people not because of their immutable characteristics, but because of what they can do, because of their skills. And it doesn't matter what you look like. If you have the skills and you find a way to portray them, people are just looking for every excuse to let themselves off the hook. So I talk about the fact that society doesn't want you to succeed. So my first chapter in the book talks about the fact that there's no entity of society that's like trying to hold you down on purpose, but there are just many perverse incentive structures that lead to this lifestyle we're living where people get caught in debt traps. They get caught in jobs and situations they don't want. There's power concentration at the top. In some senses, there are limits to upward mobility depending on how you go about it. All of these are just created by perverse incentive structures, and you just need to accept that as fact, move on. Certain parts of the game are for sure rigged, but move on. What are you going to do about it? It's so funny. People would rather try to reorient the entire power structure of society than just look in the mirror and change their own life. Like, how are you so much more concerned about all of these things going on out there than you are with your own life? Everyone's trying to save the planet, but they won't save themselves. People are looking to politicians to save them, but you won't save yourself. Your life has pretty much been the same throughout every administration. It's very funny. I was on Twitter. I actually follow quite a few black entrepreneurs on Twitter, and we all have the same mindset that, there's nothing stopping us just because we're black. And I retweeted this guy who he is becoming a real estate investor. He just bought a new property, African-American, educated African-American male. And I'm like, look at all of us in Trump's America winning. I could care less about Donald Trump, about politics, about left, right, center. I'm about doing the most I can for my life and helping you do the most that you can for your life. This book is about understanding that there is just noise in the world and to let go of that noise and focus on your own life. It talks about the way that society is unfair and the fact that you just have to deal with it. It talks about the fact that many of the attitudes you're going to have to adopt to become successful in life are not necessarily fair for you to adopt. You will essentially have to live in a world where 99% of what you see around you contradicts what you deeply think and what you really want. The world is not geared for your self-improvement at all. Societies are not geared for the advancement of the individual. In one sense, they are, because there are these opportunities out here, like especially with the internet, the great equalizer. But on the other hand, there's also this other incentive structure that has very solid, tangible reasons why they need masses and droves of people to do things that they don't like. Like, society would not function as it currently does without the vast majority of people sacrificing their divine right to their own time in service of this company, this society, these organizations and institutions. But the good thing is that they don't mind if a couple of cogs go missing. They don't care if you as the individual go missing. Like, that's the message of the book overall, is that I'm very pessimistic about the state of society as a whole. I'm not a collectivist. I'm an individualist. I don't believe the process of changing the world should happen with this broad swath, top-down bureaucratic structure. A, because bureaucrats have no idea what they're doing. B, top-down ordering is a very inefficient way to do something, because if you make one large order and it's wrong, then everyone is wrong. Everyone is screwed, right? So my mindset about helping the individual is, yes, very libertarian, very focused on you doing what you can for your life. And it's a book and a message that tries to meet you where you're at. You know, a lot of self-help books make these exaggerated claims like, oh, no matter what you do, if you read my book, you will become a millionaire and sit on a beach and work 4 hours a week. That's insulting, because deep down you know that's not true. As enticing as those ads with Lamborghinis, you know odds are you probably aren't going to have a Lamborghini. You know odds are you're probably not going to be a gazillionaire who lives on a beach. You know that. But there's so much of a gap between have a Lamborghini and work a job you hate for the rest of your life. Like, there's a lot of things in the middle of that. And those are the kind of outcomes I want to produce. Like, the kind of outcomes I want to produce is like a B+ lifestyle. You don't have the Lamborghini, but you own a local food co-op in your town, and you're really proud of that. You start a nonprofit organization. Maybe you're not wealthy, but you get to save the lives of children, and you're proud of that. You could just start a YouTube channel that makes you $78,000 a year, and you're proud of that. You get to write a book. Like me, I'm writing books. I'm self-publishing my books. They're not New York Times bestsellers. They're not making millions of copies. I'm not rich and insanely wealthy, but I get to do what I want to do with my life, and I'm proud of that. I want someone to become the top real estate agent in Wichita, Kansas, and own 14 investment properties and have land and wealth to pass on to their children and be proud of that. I want a kid who is flipping burgers to go to trade school at night and become an electrician and start his own little electrical company where he has 6 employees. He makes $133,000 a year and helps other people feed their families, and he's proud of it. There's so many avenues to a life where you get to do what you want to do the majority of the time without necessarily being a millionaire. I understand this whole creator, digital nomad, online entrepreneur, that's not necessarily for everyone, but there's so many different variables and outcomes that you can get that aren't these kind of exaggerated promises. And, you know, part of reaching these outcomes is being honest with yourself. You know, you are a master at rationalizations. So what I do is I kind of hit people with these core truths. I kind of articulate back to them the things that they know to be true, but they're pushing down. Ayn Rand, she has a quote, something along the lines of, you know, people do a very good job of ignoring glaringly self-evident truths. We do a really good job of ignoring the glaringly self-evident truths in life. We all know what they are. We know how the world really works. And, you know, people who get overly into politics and outrage culture, they know deep down they're full of shit. They know. You know when you're full of it. You definitely know. So what this book does is it tries to help you look in the mirror. And, you know, the whole process of this book, the process of this YouTube channel, is me more or less spitting back self-improvement cliches to you in a way that gets you to think about them and really embrace what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody is coming to save you. The cavalry is not coming. You are trading away your time doing things that you do not want to do, and you do not have to be doing that. You do not have to lie to yourself and make up this idea that you are this martyr sacrificing time for your family. No, you are not sacrificing time for your family. You are not stuck in your position. You would rather watch Netflix and go out on weekends and go to get drinks or go to the pottery show than you are to sit down and write. You have spare time. Doing things on the side is not risky. You can do anything you want on the side while maintaining your job. It's not mutually exclusive. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself and pretending you don't want the things you want. Oh, I don't want a lot of money. Shut up. Yes, I just talked about the fact that you don't want to necessarily aren't going to become a millionaire, but you want financial flexibility and to be able to take care of yourself. Oh, I don't really want big dreams. I just want to be an accountant. Okay, Jim the accountant, you don't want to be an accountant. Stop lying to yourself. You went to accounting school because your parents wanted you to get a good job, and society wants you to get a good job and pat you on the back for having a LinkedIn resume, and you don't hate your job. Like, your job is okay, and you even have good moments, but you're low-key still a little bit miserable about it, and you really want to open up a business. But you're lying to yourself and telling yourself that that's not what you want. Quit lying to yourself. Those are the situations. I'm trying to help you undo your rationalizations. Yes, big, gigantic dreams aren't necessarily meant for everyone, but most people have a dream that they're not doing anything about. And it's really upsetting. So that's why I have kind of a harsh, confrontational tone when I talk to people, because it's like, dude, what are you doing? You are going to die. And before you die, there's a distinct possibility that you're going to go through your life, not get the things done that you wanted to get done. You're going to wake up in your middle age and you are going to feel the weight of it. I look at people's expressions and you can just see it written on their face. Henry David Thoreau's quote, "The masses of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is confirmed desperation becomes resignation." It is written all over people's faces and we can see it. And I'm trying to help people avoid living lives of quiet desperation. And that comes with being brutally honest with yourself, understanding how the world works, and just understanding that wherever you're at, that's just the place that you have to come from. That's what I talk about in the book over and over and over again. Your circumstances are your circumstances. If you are a single mother with 2 kids, you might have to lose sleep, scrap and scrape to find a daycare provider so that you can go back to school. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. That might be what you have to do. You might have to wake up at 5 a.m. You might have to sacrifice your weekends. You might have to sacrifice money. You might have to be willing to lose something to gain more. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that whatever happened to you that is not advantageous, I'm sorry that it happened to you, but these are your cards. What are you going to do about it? And so that's the energy that I have. Like, sometimes, I can be a very positive and optimistic person, but I often lean towards more of the feelings of desperation, of getting fed up. Like, when is it going to sink in? When are you going to get tired of doing this? When are you going to get tired of this monotonous loop that just drips like Chinese water torture on your soul and is slowly eroding your confidence and self-esteem? People become shells of themselves. My 4-year-old daughter is a ball of energy. And we're all a ball of energy when we're 4. We're all supernovas when we're 4 years old. Slowly but surely, that star dies. It dies in most people. And I realize that I can't save everyone, but if 10 people read this book and it helps them do things like start that local bakery, like go to trade school and start that company, like sit down and put their butt in the chair and write or shoot those videos, or find a better job, or just wake up and at least have some creative hobbies, at least express themselves. If this book helps people do that, that's a win for me. Even if one person does that, it's a win for me. This is about the individual. This is about you. So I'm going to close this saying to go buy the book. The link is in the description below. Buy the book because I think it's going to really have a profound impact on your life if you decide to implement the information, buy the book, because if you like my videos, this book is a much more refined version of my thoughts. Buy the book so that I can help feed my cute, beautiful 4-year-old daughter who loves Frozen and playing with her dolls and her bunny, whose name is Bubbles. Do it for her. Buy the book, because I want you to. Just buy the book. Real Help, An Honest Guide to Self-Improvement, in Amazon. Link below. I will see you on the next video.